for joining us. And can we give two of them another round of applause? Alright. So, before we open up to the circle, I'd like to ask the two of you. It's the last show. How do you feel?
Oh, it's great. Yeah. I think I was finding more stuff today, so yeah. Getting ready for wherever else it's going.
It feels like a child has just been given birth to.
So, open to the floor. If you have any questions or comments about the process of the book you see. Yes.
Seeing as the both of you are based in two different continents, how was this conceived and how did the process come together? Seeing as you were hardly ever in the same room until the last week.
Until Monday.
So for everyone else, how did this work get conceived when you're in LA for most of the time?
Yeah.
You're in Singapore, somewhere else.
Yeah. The great thing is I have the great honor of coming here twice a year to do some work. And the last time it's usually January and July or August. So I was here in January. We were doing Words of My Body at Hawk Center back in creativity. And there was also the book release of the second book that I wrote called Angitan and the Gypsy. And I actually asked several performers to present it. Kamil was one of the Runnies and Daryl Chan. And throughout that whole, it was just a reading, right? There was like a theme of relationship between grandparents and their grandchildren. And during that time, I had met with Eric, and we talked about the National Poetry Festival, and kind of threw it out there that kind of cool to do a play that's written in poetry. So that's where it all came about, and we were, I think we were on a train when I was discussing that with you, and then during the next few months, and then Sharon kind of solidified a lot of those things. But the very beginning of the process is basically send me poems, and I'll send you poems, right? With this whole idea of the theme of In Spirit being this year's festival theme, we had that in mind as well. So we just started writing poetry first, and then the whole idea of grandfather and granddaughter as well. And I had no idea. I mean, when she sent her poetry, I was like, oh my goodness, this is powerful. It really strengthens the bond of grandchild and grandparent. And then we saw each other last Sunday.
Yeah.
For a brief moment.
And then we just tried to put it up.
Yeah, so it was not blocked up until Monday. We Skyped several times, but it's really hard because she was also in Europe, and it's just the time zones was really made it a little difficult. But we worked together for Creation by Body 2 years ago, and that's when I first saw the inspiration where she played a grandmother. So it all kind of came together.
So you started writing this piece first?
Yeah. It's never been performed ever up until Friday. So it was for the festival.
I think the exploration of grandparenthood was something that we both connected to a lot. So yeah, I guess I regard this as something that came onto like that. It's like we were talking about also a lot of the things that we wrote or did was we were joking, oh, who wrote this line? And we were like, oh, the spirit,
I say that whenever I finish something, and I'm like, what is this? You know, who wrote this thing? You know? It's extra special because there's someone else involved.
Yeah.
Two of us.
Any other questions? Yes.
I noticed there were a lot of like singing and also different forms of expression in terms of the various languages that was used for singing as part of this performance. Just curious, but is there any connection for the songs that were used when you were sung? Because my Mandarin sucks. Yeah, just wanting to understand from perhaps the like the writing point of view in a sense. Is there a certain meaning to it? Because sometimes the songs can be, it's quite powerful, it can be used as a way to connect across generations. I was just wondering if that was so for this.
So, what do you imagine how this song that came about?
Yeah. Like, no, I think it was, you asked me, right, if my grandmother sang anything, like the lullabies that she heard.
Yeah, I mean, The Little White Boat is a
Yeah.
pretty popular song in this country.
Yeah.
So, I definitely asked her, I was like, oh, what would be a really cool song to sing?
Yeah. And I think you were very perceptive in the sense that there's a lot of, we felt movement and song that needed to be in this show because we had to embody the texture of poetry for one, and secondly, when we talk about poetry, we're talking about it as an essence, right? It can exist in like song, dance, painting, performances, and when a human being reaches a poetic state, they don't go into like it's not like daily. It's not an everyday act. You have to ascend to that heightened form of expression. So that's where song comes in, and also as a dialogue, I think, between me and my grandmother when she heard the song, a dialogue between me and him when he sings me the song. So there's a lot of things that happens within the act of singing itself.
Yeah, I mean, it's beautiful. It's a very good observation because this is a memory play. Although it seemed linear, it's not. It's her memory while she's holding the baby. So the very beginning of the play is her holding the child. So everything you see was her memory going back and forth. So if we, as human beings, actually think about our memories, songs will come in and out. Smells would come in and out. Like, you know, we did it. I wish there was Laksa here, but it was all through memory, right? As sensorial human beings, there are certain elements of like a smell. I know when my grandmother's visiting me because there's a smell of some pagita flowers that do not exist in Los Angeles, but a whiff of it brings me back to childhood, right? So in that essence, the sonic universe, thanks to, by the way, thanks to Genevieve and Dina for the lights and the tech of this whole show, right? Because you didn't need rain projected because you know it. Just hearing it triggers that memory, right? So all those moments that you see are a little repetitive. It's coming back again, right? So the grief moment is actually what is this character going through? She's going through this jointed memory, trying to hold on to her grandfather singing that song and remembering the bench, because the way I saw grief is like you have laps of memories all over the place, and it's like an ocean you're riding. It's like really good, and then oh, that song is whack. You know, it's on different tonalities, and you're like, oh, you know, they're not there, right? So the sensorial world is what kind of captures the poetic movement of the piece and the poetic music of it as well. Yeah.
How does it's interesting you also mentioned different, almost like movement forms in that. Perhaps you would like to elaborate on.
I think the other day someone was asking if it was a dance, and I was like, no, it's not a dance because I'm not a dancer and I don't have the vocabulary to execute like Chinese dance, right? But when we go back in memory and we let our associations to speak through us and we embody it, we find that more often than not we start traces of, say, the way our grandparents start to move, or even my father starts to move, starts to come out. And yeah, you don't see my father here, but it speaks through the way that it is being embodied in the movement.
We take comments as well.
Any other questions? I'm actually interested. We have relatively younger audience members here. How do you guys take this?
I mean, I thought it was good. It was great. Yeah. I mean, I'm really interested in theatre. I'm really interested in like theatre and plays and poetry in general, and I think it was really well executed. Yeah. So yeah, great job. Yeah.
Can I ask a question? Can you raise your hand if there was in any moment in the play that brought you back to your childhood and someone that you love? That's wonderful. That's the goal, right? So the most beautiful thing about the work that we do is we get to immortalize humanity. So we actually had this room filled with grandparents and grandmothers and grandfathers and parents, and so the beautiful thing about that is I'm so happy to meet your ancestors, and I'm so honored that you got to meet my grandmother, and for Renise, whatever it is for her, you know, that's the beauty of the work. I feel.
Perhaps then one last question. Where would you go from here?
For bookings, go to. It's a very specific piece, right? And I feel that for Asian and Chinese diaspora, it can go anywhere, right? Australia has a massive population of Chinese, everywhere, right? So, that's the next conversation. It's so easy to move, right? 2 people, and that's it. That's really all you need, and the imagination of the audience.
And 3 black boxes.
3 black boxes. A balloon. That's it.
And a
That's
scarf.
it. Balloon and a scarf.
All right. Nothing else. Thank you guys so much.
Thank you.